My story kind of starts off before myself, actually. It starts off back with my mum, who went through a really rough childhood, had 6 miscarriages and abortions, and then was able to have me. At the time, my birth father, or the man she fell pregnant to, gave her this ultimatum that it's either I'll stay with you or you're gonna have to get an abortion. And my mum, who had been through 6, said, that's just not an option. And so he left, and my mum stayed and now was a single mother. Early on, my mum had lost custody of me while she was on the methadone and coming off drugs and all of that kind of stuff. And so while I was in that custody of another family member, I was still able to see her on weekends. And one time when I saw her on the weekend, she asked me, what did you do at so-and-so's house? And so I told her, I was like, oh yeah, went and had some nice fried fish and played in the garden and played the games in the shower. I remember she looked at me and she was like, games in the shower? What kind of games in the shower? And then I described to her what turned out to be sexual abuse, and she freaked. From my understanding, she broke down, and my stepdad came alongside her, and they both didn't really know what to do. And then through an elongated process, they took these family members to court and regained custody of me. The sexual abuse stuff didn't really affect me when I was really young, but as I got older, I realized that the other kids that I was with were different. They weren't quite the same as me. And I remember I told who at the time was my best friend when I was about 8 at school what happened. He might have not taken it very well, and he just thought it was funny and actually just started telling people. I was like, oh, yo, check this out, this happened to Taylor. People were just laughing at me, making jokes about it. And I started spiraling into this just space where there was just this deficit of self-worth. It was during this time as well that my birth dad had come along and then turned up. I'd only met him once and said to me, you're no son of mine. I became this ratty little brat who found any reason to annoy people. I told the truth to someone when I was young and it didn't work out well, so I became a compulsive liar. I would tell stories to make people like me because I didn't want to be bullied again. I didn't want to be not accepted. I wanted to be loved and wanted to be liked, and I wanted to know what it was like for people to like me. Because of me, my dad had left. Because of me, I had been sexually abused. Because of the story that I had told, I had been bullied. And so I thought, man, I'm not good enough, and no one will accept me as I am, and so I have to lie now to be accepted. All the while this was happening though, I was at church. I was going to my local church, was in my local youth ministry, but I'd been putting on this facade every single Sunday, and I became really good at it. I mean, I'd been lying to my friends, lying to my parents. I'd made my youth leader cry. I don't know, I was just that kid, the one who would always try to be disruptive, was always sent out of class. Anyway, so I made her cry, and we get to this youth camp, and I remember she looks at me, and she goes, Taylor, you are gonna be an amazing leader. You are an asset, and I would love to have you on our youth team. This sent me. I didn't know what to do. I was so used to lying and then having someone get angry at me, and I could deal with that well. I could deal with someone being angry at me, or I could deal with someone ignoring me, or deal with someone talking smack about me. But when she looked at me and told me that she loved me and that I had worth and that I was gonna be a leader, I didn't know how to receive this. She doesn't know this, but I went to my cabin and just cried. Yeah, that was probably the biggest turning point in my life. Ever since then, I've kind of been either crawling through the mud or sprinting towards God, just making my way there any way that I can. I look back and I think, man, that stuff was hard, but it's actually nothing that God can't deal with. There's not once in my life has he ever failed me. Not once through any of that stuff was he ever it's okay, maybe someone else can deal with this. He grabbed it with both hands. He grabbed me with both hands and told me that he loved me. And I didn't even see that. I didn't see that in the hug that my dad gave me or in the little finger poke in the chest that my church leader said. But now I look back and I realize, man, God was in every single moment. There with me when I was crying. He was there at school when I was getting bullied. He's been with me every single moment of the way. Jesus has never once let me down.